I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I have everything I need. I am everything I want to be. I am everything. I have everything I've ever wanted to be. I am everything I want to be. I have everything. I have everything I need. everything I wanna be. I have everything I need. I am everything I am everything. I am everything. I have everything I have everything I need. I am everything I wanna be. I am everything I wanna be. I have all I need. I am everything I am everything I wanna be. I have everything I need. I am everything everything I wanna be. I have everything everything I need. I am everything I wanna be. I have everything I need.
Hey, beautiful people. It's wonderful to see you. I'm going to give it just a few, like 2 more minutes. Welcome to my daughter. That is one of the joys of also being on this online space where perhaps our
Like
home
my
life.
son.
Yes, you're on the screen talking to my friends and you're
Chef. At night time, I am a daughter. Morning, I am a son.
okay. At nighttime, she is a daughter. In the morning time, she is a son. So now we know. Okay.
Daddy.
So can I talk to my friends now? Okay, you can keep exercising. So, all right. Um, welcome, y'all. I'm so happy to see you. And if you don't know, I'm Reina Leon, and I'm one of your hosts today. Sarah Browning is with us. We will have more people coming in, folding in. You may have seen some early announcements for our list. We have our incredible feature, Warren C. Longmire, today, who I was really looking forward to meeting in person or spending time with in person, but here we are, keeping our community safe. We also, you may have noticed from the flyers that Janine, a cook, was supposed to be with us, but the opportunities presented themselves for great growth in Kenya, actually. So I'm hoping that Janine will join us in the future. So let me, we're gonna record our time together. And folks will be folding in as they can, and everything will be posted on YouTube too. So let me do that land acknowledgement. So as is our collective practice always when we are in the comfortable, one moment. As is our practice within the wonderful, warm and cozy space of Young American. If you haven't had the ability to be there yet, I definitely invite you to go there. We always begin our time together with a land acknowledgement. This one, mostly coming from the city of Philadelphia. So for centuries, the land known as Philadelphia was home to and cared for by Native peoples. These include the Lenape people of Lenapehoking and the Patuxet of the Delaware Bay. We recognize these tribes' strength and history of resistance to colonization and commit to honoring their history and presence and future. And we support the local Native peoples, including several tribal nations. There are 5 listed within the Philadelphia invitation to land acknowledgement, including the Nanticoke Lenape Tribal Nation, the Ramapo Lenape Nation, the Powhatan Lenape Nation, the Nanticoke of Millsboro, Delaware, and the Lenape of Cheswold, Delaware. We know that our modern systems of growing food and owning property are built on the stolen land of indigenous people, the enslavement of African people, and the genocide of both Native and Black communities and cultures. These violent acts continue to impact Black and indigenous communities today. We must understand and name that. So I always share that when I do a land acknowledgement, I donate to the indigenous community in whose land I'm walking or moving and working. And so I always or have recently been donating to the Nanticoke Lenape Nation, and I'll post that link in the chat. So and I'll share with you donations to Wild Indigo. I'll put that link in the chat as well if you would like to support our work continually. As well as Uncle Bobby's is like OG, amazing, supportive. They are offering a 10% discount on Warren's book. They have them and they're ready to ship them straight to you. So I will put that link as well in the chat to encourage you to also support Warren, support the press, support the book, and go back to Uncle Bobby's, right? So we're going to start with our open mic. We are also going to, and then go to Warren, and then we'll close out with our open mic. I also want to note our continual partners and sponsors who shifted as we had to very quickly, Young American Cider and Reclaim Philadelphia. And I hope again that you will support them. We'll drop links to their work and websites and everything in the chat in just a moment. So Sarah, can you tell us about why, especially for those who are new, why we do this? What is Wild Indigo?
Thank you, and welcome everybody. If you feel inspired to turn on your camera, it's always lovely to talk to faces when you're. Thank you. Um, you know, it's such a strange and difficult weekend. Um, And I want to acknowledge that and also acknowledge the kind of beauty and camaraderie that we are building here with each other right now on the screen, but also every third Sunday of the month at Young American. I want to read a very short poem that probably many of you know by Ross Gay, A Small Needful Fact. A small needful fact is that Eric Garner worked for some time for the Parks and Rec Horticultural Department, which means perhaps that with his very large hands, perhaps in all likelihood, he put gently into the earth some plants which, most likely, some of them, in all likelihood, continue to grow, continue to do what such plants do, like house and feed small and necessary creatures, like being pleasant to touch and smell, like converting sunlight into food, like making it easier for us to breathe. Our vision for the Wild Indigo Poetry Series is to plant those seeds of the community we need and that we're building here together that make it easier for us to breathe. To build community that is multiracial, multicultural, multi-generational, and multidimensional. To engage our neighbors in movements for social justice, to showcase a diverse lineup of contemporary, local, and national poets, and to provide opportunities for poets to share work on the open mic. We're glad you're with us, and we're glad of all who have been with us over the last 5 months. It's been an extraordinary series of events so far. My plan now was to bring up Seth Anderson Oberman, who is the executive director of Reclaim Philadelphia, to talk a little bit about Reclaim, but I don't see that he's on the Zoom yet. He and I were in a 2-hour meeting this afternoon, and we're in the middle of the Eagles game. So that might be what's going on. But he said he would be here.
I'll tag you and maybe Seth can come on later.
You'll what?
So would you like to tell us anything about Reclaim?
Absolutely, yes. So I was going to say, so I'll take it. So for folks who don't know, Reclaim is a citywide progressive organization committed to building working class power, especially in Black and Brown communities throughout the city, and has been instrumental in electing progressives to the city council. Larry Krasner as Attorney General, District Attorney, sorry, here in the city, and several folks in Harrisburg at the state level. Also building community power. And so in our meeting today, we were just talking about the fact that actually Larry Krasner is up for re-election this year. And the primary is in May. And so are all the judges who enact these kind of draconian, I don't know if folks saw the article in the Inquirer this morning, but Philly locks up young people in our juvenile system at something like 5, 10 times the national average. An outrageous amount. And it's at the judicial level that we can have an impact because all the judges in the system are elected. So that's a really important campaign to look out for in the months ahead. And we're going to put the Reclaim link in the chat if you have a chance to check out the organization. Join. We have an active chapter here in Northwest Philadelphia that I'm involved with. And Reclaim is also, it signed up to co-sponsor this series, so it understands the power of the arts to make change and to reach us in our hearts. Sometimes a poem can reach us better than a PowerPoint presentation. Do people even make those anymore? A chart or a political talk. So that is part of the power of poetry, and Reclaim gets that. And so it's been a real joy to have their partnership in this program. So we're grateful to them. So folks, have you signed? I see that David has signed up on the open mic. Welcome, David. So great to have you here. How about this? I was going to read a poem of my own. So why don't I do that now? And then that'll give us a couple more minutes for folks to sign up on the open mic and get inspired to do that. And then we'll bring David up and anybody else who's signed up. How's that sound? Great. So my mother was a war refugee from World War II. And I'm painfully aware of the fact that because she was from England and white and English speaking, she was welcome to this country. She had a sponsor, she and her family. And that has not been the case for so many Black and Brown people who've come here fleeing conditions that our country has often created or sponsored or supported in their countries. And so I feel, and we're all going to need to do it in solidarity with our immigrant kin. They are the backbone of our country. And there's so much we're going to need to do to protect and support people in the months and years ahead. So I'm going to read a poem from my second book, which is called Killing Summer. And this is the final poem. Excuse me. Flag of No Walls. On the border with Mexico, we call it a fence, as if to lean on its top, chat with those neighbors to the south, trade rakes, trade gossip. Call it a fence, call it a gate, call it good. Still, Nogales, Arizona, Nogales, Sonora, trench, ground sensors, infrared night vision scopes. In Palestine, the land's been taken. Families on one side, orange groves on the other. Ours is a culture of many walls, the Saudi poet writes in her email. Young people sat on the Berlin Wall and waved the flag of no walls. Here's to the flag that waves like that, for bricks that go home in tourist baggage, for the Saudi poet and her sisters, for touch. Flag of men waiting for work in the morning chill of the 7-Eleven parking lot. Flag of nannies pushing strollers to the park for fellowship and swings. Flag of the women who spend each day changing the soiled sheets of their new country. I want the flag of talking, of sitting on the disintegrating wall and gabbing, gossiping, negotiating, waving that flag of no walls. That flag. Thank you. All right. So, excellent. We now have two folks signed up on the open mic. So, you have 3 minutes or more since we're a small group, intimate. And Raina just posted the sign up again, so I hope you'll be inspired. So, introduce yourself, where you're from, where you're based, and give us a poem. Let's give it up for David.
Testing, testing. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. Thank you. So my name is Dave, coming at you from Philly, Lenape land. And thank you so much to the organizers of Wild Indigo for curating this space and keeping it going despite all the other distractions going on around us right now. I am putting on a show, a poetry show, next month at the Icebox Project Space. And so I'm going to do a poem, some new work. I'm kind of like workshopping it from there. It's more story based. And if it's appropriate, I would love to be able to drop like the flyer and the ticket link in the chat for anyone who is interested in experimental poetry work.
Absolutely.
Cool. Thank you. The show uses like live sound and film projection. So it's going to be interesting. So yeah, this poem, I was pumping gas at a Sunoco off of Stanton in Mount Airy. I live in Mount Airy. I was raised in Mount Airy. Um, and I had this encounter with this man who was pumping across from me, and it just inspired this work. And so this poem is called "On Pumping Gas at the Sunoco off Stanton in Mount Airy." And essentially, I asked the teller to put 5 on 5, which kind of sounds like I'm requesting a pickup game of 87 octane to placate the rumbling steel stomach of my midnight blue '04 Corolla, praying it might be enough to get me home as a group of also indigent men loiter into a church outside the station. And I grip my keys like rosary beads in case I resemble the answer to their prayers. And one man has his hand tucked under his jacket as I grip the plastic throat of the nozzle, and I wonder if his palm is also on a pump. But y'all, what if instead it was a handful of baby's breath or like roses to offer his homies for a job well alive? And I think maybe I've been in the suburbs too long and can no longer distinguish gunshots from fireworks, or the post-shooting wails of a newly bereaved mother from the gasps of a dying animal, all of which bled through the dead of night and into my studio apartment, which also happened to be my first refuge away from my own grieving mother. And though I am filled with the overflow of their sorrow, I can't help but think what a blessing it is to love someone so deeply your tears wake a whole block. And the old head, refueling across from me, also gazing at the men, turns to me and says, "Keep your head on a swivel, young blood." And I think about how love is a kind of fuel. and listen as my car guzzles this clear liquid whose value fluctuates depending on the relationship of two bodies. And I think of my father and how he never sits with his back to any door, as if every entrance was potential for harm and never the arrival of beauty. And I think of my 94-year-old grandfather, who necessitated the jaws of life to pry his driver's license from his bony fists because he swore my family would abandon him like his depreciating senses. And I know there's a word for coward in every language, and a lexicon of fear inside every boy. And still, I leave the engine running for a swift getaway and think maybe this particular brand of loneliness is just the inflated cost of masculinity. Thank you so much. That's my piece. Sorry if you heard my partner is watching the Eagles game in the other room right now, so they keep going up. But yeah, again, thank you so much for your time. I will drop the flyer and the link in the chat, and looking forward to hearing everyone's else work. Thank you.
Woohoo, Dave. Wow. That was so stunning and so moving. Thank you so much. Oh, welcome, folks who are just arriving. So great to see you. Here's the link to sign up on the open mic if you want to do that. We have a couple more folks signed up, which is so fabulous. So our next open micer is Chris Demento. Chris, let's hear about the show at Char and Stave too.
How about now? Yeah.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. 23rd, Char and Stave in Chestnut Hill. Poetry plus music night. We also do one in Ardmore once a month. Each event is once a month. It's a Thursday. Each event is a Thursday. Those Thursdays vary. But once a month at Char and Stave in Chestnut Hill, there's going to be poetry and music. And in Ardmore, there's going to be poetry. So I'm also connected with Warren through House Poet, so that's a cool thing. Thank you very much for bringing me on to the team there. Looking forward to booking really cool people and being a part of that. So thanks for having me, Sarah. And this is a meditation on California. What's up, Raina, too? Are you on the, is Raina on the chat? I didn't see her.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Oh, Red. Is that Red? Oh, I was like, who's that? I'm sorry, I don't see real well. I was like, who's that woman with the red hair? It looks like a red hair, not a hat. Is that a hat? Okay, all right. It occurs to me, some people will live their whole lives and never see California. It has this kind of mythology of inevitability, like Florida, except nicer. No, it can be cold there. The land is full of spirit. It can actually command a mysticism. Sometimes the air is wafting faint death across the Golden Gate into Sausalito. If you could believe that, tourists at the wharf purchasing sweatshirts looking at that cold-ass water. There's an old joke among Northern Californians. It was worn on T-shirts up in Santa Cruz, Santa Rosa. It was annihilate Southern California. Even Southern California, it's a desert, gets cold enough. To my knowledge, Southern California was never meant to support 12 or whatever million people. It's arid. The water was brought there by damming the Colorado. The image I have is of a straw puncturing the skin of the orange into the flesh and juice and sucking, to begin with, the great resource there in the viscera of the internal geography so that we might irrigate for aesthetic, coastal, hypercultural experience. So it is that this problem was always a problem, but I'd like to start with a thought for those real lives of those real people out there living that superficial SoCal mode who happen to suffer intrigues, pain, heartache, loss, grief, fear, paranoia, like all of us back here do. California is a real place. It's an important place, and not in the ways they'd sell you, but it's an incredibly special place. So here's my meditation on that. It's someone's birthday in California. Someone likes a girl. Someone is curious about birds. Someone is drawing. Someone is working on their jump shot. Someone is cheating, and someone is being cheated on. And someone is falling in love with a firefighter.
Yeah. Woo. Let's give it up for Chris. Thank you. So powerful. Woo. So Char and Stave is our new John in Chestnut Hill. It says coffee
Yep.
in the
Coffee.
day, coffee during the day,
You can
whiskey at
bring
night.
food.
And I went in there during the day
It's
and I was
BYOF. So, and it's gonna be fun. And we're booking music, we're booking poets. So and it pays $50 for a feature. So
all
keep that in
right.
mind. The Chestnut Hill one does.
All right. Great. I go in there and I'm like, since when were there hipsters in Chestnut Hill?
I guess since I showed up. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you for doing that, Chris.
Oh, sure.
And
Thanks,
thank you
Sarah.
for that powerful poem. So great. I know, I love that litany at the end. Someone is curious about birds and someone is falling in love with a firefighter. Great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, our next open micer is Elliot. Elliot Butsetic. Did I get it right? Excellent. Bring it on. You're muted. There you go.
So this is a baby poem. It started from a prompt on Friday. And the prompt for it is that in Jewish culture, each week we read a different parsha in synagogue. And this week is the story of Shifra and Pua, who were the midwives. When Pharaoh said, kill all the Hebrew boys, kill all the newborn Hebrew babies, Shifra and Pua lied in order to undercut the Pharaoh. And they're like, oh, these Hebrew women, they just give birth like animals. We can't possibly be there in time to get the babies and kill them. So they refused to go along with the power over. And as much as I deeply love my people, the Jews, it's been a hard year and a half with the Jews who have not said no to the slaughter in Gaza. So this poem comes out of that heartbreak. It's called I Hunger for a Stiff-Necked Jew. Always across our history, across our myth, we praise those who chose not to comply, not to consent, not to let empire rule or destroy. And this is how Jewish history came to be. But where today do these Jews walk? Not in our institutions, leaders' knees bent and bowed to donor demands, nor in our synagogues, whose bathroom stalls secret staff who whisper, sob, ceasefire, ceasefire, yet dare not speak aloud even that simple yearning, much less what they know to be true. That the only way forward is the loudest peace, is screaming no to the armies of death. That the only way to loud peace is justice measured in tons of food. And the only way to such justice is to face honesty's ancient stone wall, still standing, still, still. And the only way to be holy enough to dare to touch such honesty is to wail a reckoning. And Exodus 30, God ordered this accounting of all that has been stolen, accounting of all the long gone homes, a devastation of specificity, not to determine who wins at tragedy, but to share the most familiar grief, to know that we, all of us, live now under fragile shelters, quaking poles holding rags stiffened by blood, frozen with tears, all of us now. And that we could, with any simple choice, feed one another, tend to our children, keen together as we bury our dead. The pharaohs are again demanding death. And where among us now is Shifra? Who among us now will be Pua? Where the baby they saved, the man who killed a guard for beating a slave and, stuttering, spoke into freedom the great mixed multitudes? Where Abram, walking away from idols into the wilderness? Where Esau, who crossed that wilderness to weep into the neck of the brother who had that once betrayed him?
Wow. Elliot. So stunning. Thank you so much for that power. Yeah. I'm seeing hearts going up. Oh. Been a year and a half.
Sarah, I can barely hear you all of a sudden.
You can't hear me? How's
When
this?
you lean forward, I can.
Okay. I'll get closer. How's that? Is that better? Okay. Thank you. I think I was just having my breath taken away. Actually, by all these open mic poets, can we give it up for them? Woo! So Raina and I keep posting the link in the chat in the hopes that more of y'all will sign up. But now it's our great pleasure, my great pleasure to bring up our featured poet, Warren C. Longmire.
I put myself on the open mic.
Oh,
Yeah, right on.
Okay, you're waiting for me. Okay.
So Warren, as most folks know, is one of Philadelphia's great literary citizens. A poet, curator, and host, an innovator, a friend to writers and performers near and far. I'm grateful for his work and for his abiding friendship and for the ways that he welcomed me here to Philadelphia when I moved here. We're lucky to catch him today before he heads back to the University of Iowa in one of the country's most prestigious MFA programs tomorrow. So be safe out there on the roads. And now I'm going to read his formal bio. Warren Longmire is a writer, technologist, and educator from the bad part of Philadelphia, of North Philadelphia, as he put it. He's the host of House Poet, a spoken word dance party, and founder of Mix Lit Productions. Warren's work has been published in journals including Action Spectacle, the Cleveland Review of Books, R&R, and the American Poetry Review, who I just got a rejection from yesterday, which just reminds us. He was featured in the Best American Poetry 2021, edited by Tracy K. Smith, and is featured in the anthology A Black Philadelphia Reader, African American Writings About the City of Brotherly Love. His latest book, which you can buy from Uncle Bobby's at the link with a 10% discount, Bird Diz, An Erased History of Bebop, was released by Bunny Press in 2022. Warren's currently a student at Iowa Writers Workshop. I give you Warren C. Longmire.
Thanks so much, Sarah. Thank you, Rena. Thank you, Wild Indigo, for just curating this space, for really connecting a lot of the dots of Philadelphia poetry history, across community, across time. And especially thank y'all for making it an open mic and not just a featured read. I mean, on days like today, especially, like starting off a new year, the day before Martin Luther King Day, the day before, this huge, black hole that we're jumping into together. Open mics, having those spaces where we can just come and share ourselves together in community, they only become more important and more powerful. So thank y'all for keeping that alive in Philadelphia and providing one more space, especially today. I feel like when you have times are as significant as this, there's no greater honor than to be able to feature and to try to find that space yourself. I'm going to do a real quick look share my screen quick. I would love to. I do miss one thing about Zoom readings and being able to just show work and also have some audio visual elements. I want to do like a quick little sound check as well. Let's do this over here. Can people hear that? Are we good there? I'm just gonna throw, if you can throw up a, if you can throw up the phone. Yep,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, cool. Is it overly loud? I'm gonna bring that down just a little bit.
No, not overly loud at all.
Okay, cool. So that's what we're working with. I want to also dedicate this reading to one Homer Jackson, also known as a Skip in the Philadelphia community. He died in July of 2024. He was the executive director, curator of the Philadelphia Jazz Project. In 2023, I worked with him on a project on Martin Luther King Day that was all reinterpretations of letters from a Birmingham jail. This is a project that Homer Jackson had done on many years. Truly gifted, just artist, musician, collaborator, and someone that really should be remembered when we think about people who've shared themselves and connected the dots in Philadelphia art. So I want to share that. A little information on him is available inside of chat. Definitely check it out. And two of the pieces, the first piece and the piece before last, are from that project. All of them are reinterpretations, collages of words from Martin Luther King's A Letter from Birmingham Jail. This first piece is called Self-Purify. We've gone through all the steps. 1, the collection of facts to prove injustices are alive. 2, the negotiation of terms. 3, self-purification. And 4, direct action. 1, no one denies what is happening here. Birmingham is probably the most thoroughly segregated city in all of the United States. Its ugly record of police brutality is known in every section of this country. There are more unsolved bombings of Black homes and churches than any other city in the country. These are hard and brutal and incontrovertible facts. And on the basis of them, Negro leaders sought two negotiations with the city's political fathers. They were refused. And then the opportunity came to talk to economic leaders and merchants of Birmingham to take down the humiliating signs in front of every store. The Alabama Christian Movement for Human Rights agreed to call a moratorium on any demonstration. The signs remained. And as the weeks and the months and the years and decades unfolded, we realized we are victims of a broken promise, a blasted hope. A dark shadow of deep disappointment settled on us, and we decided 3, it is time to self-purify. And we asked ourselves, are you able to accept the beatings without hitting back? Are you able to endure the ordeal of jail? Are you ready to die? We had no choice but to prepare for direct action, whereby we present our very bodies as a mean of laying down our case before the national and local community's conscience. And we postponed for the election. And we postponed to avoid the clouding of the political runoff immediately after. And you asked, is a negotiation a better path? And why didn't you give the new administration time to act? I have never yet engaged in a successful movement that was well timed. Freedom is never voluntarily given by the oppressor. For years now, I have heard the word wait. It rings in the ear of every Negro with a piercing familiarity. When you have seen the vicious mobs lynch your mothers and fathers at will, drown your sisters and brothers at a whim, when you see the majority of your 20 million Negro men smothered in a cage of poverty, and the depressed clouds of inferiority begin to form in your daughter's mental sky, when your first name becomes nigger and your middle name becomes boy, you come to learn this weight almost always means never. Untitled American Victim 1. I am the monster the moment you say I am. Shoot me in my open mouth as soon as the dark in your head shows its teeth. I will wait for you forever, yelling proud in the middle of the street, so tired and in love, begging for one mistake unremarkable and human at last. Untitled American Victim 2. You are the monster the moment we say you are. Shot inside your open mouths as soon as the dark in our head shows its teeth. You will wait for us forever, yelling proud in the middle of the street till you're tired of love. Beg for a mistake unremarkable human. Last. Untitled American Victim 3. We are the monsters the moment we say it. Opening our mouths, showing our teeth. We shoot the show in our heads until the dark opens. We yell of our love forever, and in the middle, we are humans, and humans get tired of love. We are one with our pride for this tired, unremarkable street. We love the mistakes of humans and lasting while begging for love. Untitled American Victim 4. The monsters, all shot, their open mouths dark, teeth forever, yelling in our heads, a tired street of begging, a mistake, a mistake, a mistake. Untitled American Victim 5. Oh, monster that I am, and I am shooting myself, showing myself the dark monsters of this moment, the dark teeth opening when shooting the monsters in my show, and oh, dark moments that keep showing during this show I am forever shooting. Can I beg my mistakes with love? Can I beg my mistakes proud? Can I yell love at the monster I am and not shoot myself? Can I yell love at the monster on my street and not get shot? Oh, monsters in the middle of my street yelling during my show and not opening their heads and shooting heady darkness at my opening while I'm still in the middle of shooting myself, shooting the monster, teething inside this dark moment. I am so tired of waiting for the dark, unremarkable monster that I am to love this moment more than pride. I am so tired of waiting for an unremarkable love to beg my human head open. I wrote this poem. I was in Iowa for the election, and so I mailed absentee ballot. And this poem's about that. It's called Sides. My mail-in dot bleeds blue blood. Kneels in a PA battleground the day after Obama scolds black bucks for being so difficult, immature, and sad. Midwest princess discourse on democracy and the ethics of a logical choice concludes America must protect its happy warriors. We are queer as a June bank holiday, but pride is the best we are going to get. The most likely career of an American policymaker, this is true, is an evolved ambulance chaser, law school as a power degree, or a rich liberal arts student's parental default. Half the highway billboards say buy, buy, as accident lawyers insist a lobbyist anyone can afford. One features Uncle Suburbs in an ill-fitting suit, smiling at my mama from above the highway and insisting his first name is John. When your boss is a sequence of acquisitions, we all have the same job, and it is to say, it's not your fault, loudly, over and over again until you're high enough to fund another city council member. And that's democracy, Cat. That's just progress, woman. Who is going to argue with that? The thing about the better of two death counts is an unaffected Roth yield. Every map is a map of an old mass grave. One of the powerful things about reading Letter from a Birmingham Jail to its completion is that it's way longer, clearly, than Martin Luther King wanted it to be. He even kind of like criticizes himself inside of it, of how long it's meandering. That's one thing. The second thing is that it's mostly about, in addition to being an incredible kind of framework for how nonviolent protest works, it's also mostly addressed to the clergy and white liberals and their complacency in holding back racial progress. And also, you realize very quickly that this is a man who is in jail and who is not completely sure. You can feel the desperation that's inside of it, and the sadness, and a lack of hope in some cases. And so even inside of that very dark moment that probably feels similar into the dark moments that we face right now, and what, even though it feels fleeting, was able to be done out of that darkness. it's part of kind of like what this next piece came out of. And it's called Long Prayers. Oh. Never before. Never before have I written a letter this long, or should I say a book so long. For what purpose? I'm afraid. Long, strange thoughts, dull jail cell, that it is much too long to take your precious time, Lord. I wish they could have commended the Negro demonstrators for their sublime courage and willingness to suffer. Never. Last few years since I was suddenly catapulted. For what purpose? I don't believe you. I don't believe you would so quickly commend the police for forcing the dogs, the angry, violent dogs, literally biting 6 unarmed, inhuman men that push and curse women and girls and slap old Negro men and boys and nigger and boy. Never before this long, but I beg God to, I can't join in your praise for the inexpressible cruelties of slavery could not stop us, and the humiliation yet dignity, eternal will of our demands for the dignity of and high schoolers that, and I'm afraid in the monotony of a narrow jail cell. But if anything in this letter is an understatement of the truth or indicative of an unreasonable impatience, then I beg you, forgive me if I have said anything that is an overstatement of the truth. Then I beg God, forgive me, and forgive me your never, for the cause of for this long peace and brotherhood. Long prayers, long prayers, long prayers, long prayers, long prayers, long prayers. I have been in the habit for over and over again for the past, I don't know, 10, 15 years now. I keep making love poems that take place at the end of the world. And this idea that holding on to one strong love in your life makes, no matter how it ends, your life a success, your life a triumph. So 2 poems inside of that. This first one's called Sodom. To cling to you, wearing breeze-chilled sweat, and beat the same blood deep in the root is the gift of my body. So quantum computers are here, so the next smartphones will rely on the fact that I can be indistinguishable from your matter if subdivided small enough. Even the binary of me aching and you in that stiff wooden chair away in this Portland cafe apart, so distant and unknown, can be broken. Matter can be broken in a wave of a holy Congress aberrant as a new way to orgasm, liquid as the molten gold in the crack of the shattered china, of our abandoned regrets to fuck the self empty, you need a big bed of weeping forest, its canopies lush as flushed cheeks, how our trunks arch, kissing like throats in a pose of deep and indulgent worship to fuck all of you to the smoky ash of this species is the greatest love of all. And this is my last poem. Thank y'all so much for coming and for making some space in the day to share. And I look forward to hearing more of your poems. And here's to holding in our hearts, all of us, and all of these words as we look forward into the months and the years ahead. This poem's called Change Ancients. Rot turns compost colored in the knots of our malnourished guts. Red brick crumbles behind layers of wheat paste in the old house we now huddle inside. The nightly drone wine has finally died off and returned to New Jersey. I can't hear it over the tea kettle whistling, over the dogs scramble for their favorite toy. The porch cat returned to my lap, purring out a bass deeper than our speakers. What stood at the end was whatever contains more pride than was economically feasible. Insurance companies never sold anything real anyway, so clearly never found value past a mass collapse in the itemization for the miracles who stay, who place their unhurried thumb on a stained knot deep in the coils of my back. It's a victory to move, to love, to bear. A victory to watch an exhale release from the impact of a small planted care. We collect water from the sky again, huddle around the tent of an old friend's story after the kerosene cans have dried, get high on incense and orgy smells, and use whatever moments are left between the churning gears of this money machine to spread quaint, corny things, real as any Great Depression, real as any statistical representation, real as any manifesto I almost remember, almost whisper shaking into your ear, that I left languishing in the dark, in a tangle of our spoons stacked together, under these stars that shine brighter in quilts that last decades, under the grip of our still and still grasping bones. Thank you.
Warren C. Longmire, everybody. What?
Wow. I think this is a get off the go on mic and clap for Warren, because this is
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Oh.
wow.
I'm sorry. I thought I was putting something in the chat and I wasn't. Stunning. Extraordinary work. Warren, what I was trying to put in the chat, and maybe Raina, you could do it, is the link to Warren's book at Uncle Bobby's. Since y'all have just had your hearts taken out, smashed to pieces, reassembled, put back in. And there's the book, Bird Diz. It's really a stunner. So you want to get your hands on it. Thank you, Warren. We now have with us Seth Anderson Oberman. And it was my fault. Seth texted me at 5:05, like, I can't seem to find the link. And my phone didn't buzz like it always does. So I apologize for that. And so you missed a good chunk of our time together. And I talked about the upcoming judicial races when I talked about Reclaim, but maybe you could just jump in and say a little more about Reclaim for folks and invite them to join. And you're on.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, I don't. I'm. Thank you for covering that earlier. I really don't want to take more time away from Poets on Open Mic. I think folks have probably heard this spiel a number of times now, but what I'll just say is we're proud as Reclaim Philadelphia to be a co-sponsor of this poetry series. We think that it's really important to create space in our communities. We are a grassroots citywide political organization, and we plan lots of meetings and protests and rallies and lobby visits and get out the vote and all that stuff. But it's really important to take time and come together and share in spaces like this and be vulnerable with one another. I love this series, and I want to thank Raina and Sarah for putting it together. I want to thank Warren for being a part of this. It's nice to see you again, Warren. We can't do the hard, some of it's hard, some of it's joyful, but we can't do that political work to make change in this city, in this country, without you guys. So we want affordable housing. We want fully funded public schools. We want workers' rights to organize and form unions and win, livable wages for everybody. It takes lots of organizing together, and we invite you to do that with us. We have a Northwest chapter, and we have monthly meetings, and we also have a citywide organization. So with 7 total neighborhood chapters. So if you don't live in the Northwest, maybe there's another part of the city that works better for you, to meet up with folks. But that's all I wanted to say. Thank you guys so much for everything you do and for holding this incredible space. And I'm sorry I didn't get on earlier, but I'm here now, and thanks.
Thank you, Seth. And Raina reminded us in the chat that this is being recorded, so you can go back and watch it.
Great.
Seth. Yeah. And Seth and I and a couple other folks are starting to scheme about an artist caucus within Reclaim. So if you're interested in that, please get in touch with one of us. You can reach me through all the Wild Indigo things, but also I'm going to put my email address in the chat. Artists, of course, share all the needs that the rest of us have for affordable housing, healthcare, education, but we bring a special something, as Seth was just saying, and as, of course, we've been hearing tonight and every month at Wild Indigo. I also, we've just been dropping the links to, again, Uncle Bobby's for buying Warren's book, but also if you want to donate more to support the artists in the series, it's here, and then donate to the Nanticoke Lenape Nation. The link to Reclaim Philadelphia and the link to Young American Cider, our great sponsor, host most months. So coming up next month, we have the amazing married couple poets, just in time for Valentine's Day, Grisel Acosta and Vincent Toro, coming down from Northern Jersey. They are spectacular. That reading will be co-sponsored by the Acentos Review, of which Raina is an editor, the editor, both.
Founding editor, and I have an associate editor, Lupe Mendez, who was
Excellent.
Poet Laureate.
Yeah, founding editor. Great. And then in March, Kathy Engel and Kai Davis, our very own Poet Laureate of Philadelphia. So that's going to be amazing too. And then we have 3 features in April, and that is Easter Sunday. So just a heads up that that's the case, but hope you can still join us. Candace Elo, Saida Agostini, and Frederick Joseph. So always an open mic as well. So please come out for those. I am now.
Sarah, one note about April, we will also have a book giveaway in partnership with Uncle Bobby's, celebrating We Lie Beloved from Frederick, his new book.
That's right. Thank you. And actually, I'm going to toss it back to you, Raina.
Oh, awesome. And Seth, I was keeping you on spotlight, but pressing too many buttons, dropping too many things in the chat. So let me put myself on the spotlight. Cool. So I will share with you, I think, Sarah, you may have also mentioned the Allen's Lane event that we're reading at. Okay. So Taylor A. Lewis as well as Saskia Kersey are going to be our spotlight poets. Sarah and I are going to be your features. So super exciting. We're going to be sharing some poems in conversation with Allen's Lane. So you can get tickets there. We just got an invitation, and I think I'm the only one who can step in for that, with Larry Robin is putting together a reading series of poetry series organizers and highlighting us and featuring us. So that's going to be hosted in at Fergie's, I think it's in March. So we'll share some information coming up about that. So that's that. We don't have anybody else on the open mic except for me, but I want to give you a chance, the last chance to throw something in there. Okay. I'm still looking. And then as we close, I'm going to read one of the poems that we actually started our time together with for Wild Indigo. So so I'll share one poem in 1 second as I attend to my little daughter who has a question to ask.
You're still muted.
I'm going to fix a closet while I share a poem with you because we're in home space and caregivers can do a lot of things. So I wanted to share with you a poem about my Aunt Doris. I may have talked about her before. Doris Rubottom Hackley. She passed away about 40 years ago, and her she's a credible musician. And my mom had told me that she was a famous singer. I knew that she was in a short that was preserved. You're welcome. Preserved in the Library of Congress. And we knew she was famous, but it was like, community famous, or she's our famous aunt, but we didn't know enough. And so my mom and I were recording for a podcast, and we start Google around, or at least I Google around, and then one article pops up and one article pops up, and she's singing on Broadway, and she's singing off Broadway, and she's singing in Philadelphia, and she's singing at the Alhambra, and she's singing at the Apollo several times. And now she's in a movie with Ethel Waters and Sammy Davis, and that she's everywhere. Now she had a club in Newark with her husband at the time. Now she's like all over, so she's everywhere. And but she was buried next to her mother in Western Pennsylvania, where my mom is from. And when she was buried, she had no marker. And the only people that remembered where she was buried was my mom, who just turned 72, and my uncle, who is 78. And I said, that's not a good plan. Like, we should actually put a marker there, because there are only 2 people that know where she is, and she's important to this community and so many others in New York and Baltimore and Philadelphia, especially. Turns out, like, even the articles of apparently she was recorded on the radio, had phonograph recordings, and was listened to by millions. We had no idea. So this poem is one that a jazz aficionado, swing aficionado, has a website, Merv Goldberg, and he was like, oh, I've reached out about articles because he had some things online. And he said, oh, if you're interested in that, check out this article. And it's an article where she identifies the body of one of her friends. So here's the story. Olokun pulls on the chain. After the death of Jesse D. Armand, July 17th, 1935. The big band announcements praised his angelic channeling, his body a cable to heaven. But gods below want their singers too. The girls he was with saw the tide turn to rip. He was not yet 25. Did he do what some new men do? Boast his chisel and cut and swim a water trail behind him, man-made snake. They breasted the tide, and the girls felt the undertow, decided to swim to the wharf, him just behind. He was just behind. Then he swam against the current. Then a vortex sucked him down, a whirlpool without a word. On the ferry back to New Jersey to sing at the campus club, it was Doris who saw the bloat, knew his face. She had bathed in his teeth shine, smile brighter than any stage light. She knew his face. Sepia Bing, they called him. Oh, in the papers, his picture, a profile in black and white, his cheeks as full as a cherub's. A bullfrog nearby sung, a lullaby he had just learned from the deep. And that is the poem. Let me see. I might be able to show you. Maybe. I thought I had it up for you, but I don't. But the article is really important. That shows him. Yes, I can. Here we go. And this is the article where it tells the story. And I think about how many times a profile is shared to remember, right? I'll share with you one more poem as it seems that we are ready to close, which is one that we all know. Oh, no, we're not
Yes.
closing. Oh, I see a name. I see a name on that open mic, and I'm very joyous. Okay, I will close with that poem from our beloved Sonia Sanchez, but right now we're gonna welcome Lorraine Rice.
Hello, thank you. Thank you for this. I'm going to read this poem. It's called Affidavit of Loss. I, citizen of a contradiction, hereby affirm that this confluence of matter and reason is truer than any river weaving the green and fallow of ages expired, assured. I, daughter of havoc, having been duly sworn to collect and keep the memories in accordance with ghosts, hereby attest that 1. I am an heir of the body of the mother with shared initials and an affinity for water. As such, I was issued a place on the land north of Mill Swamp, including the swamp, a moss cradle and the cypress knees and roots. 2. On a Monday in November, under a waning gibbous, I discovered that my birthright, which contained valuable items like safe and home, was lost before my first cry shred the night. 3. Frayed strands of the loss include the following. A. I have reported the loss to the stars and await their reply, sent missives in cobalt bottles sailing on the tide, commiserated with mourning doves in hopes my grief might fly. B. The last known location is the seed of destruction deep in the father's belly. Other prospects include her hollowed throat displacement, the blood-thick cord. 4. I further attest that I am reconciled with the irretrievable. More than the land I desired I desire to decipher the path of the land from one false claim of possession to the next. I seek the story in its entirety, so the ghosts can rest with ease elusive in life. Name the weight of sanctioned thievery from clay to bone. Loosen the knot before the blue moon wanes. 5. I am executing this affidavit to attest to the excision of vital notes from the family song, a missing verse that accounts for the failed rhythm, to secure another birthright while this earthbound body holds me, an inheritance for my children, less rotted root, more gold-flecked sky. Thank you.
That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Lorraine. I'm glad we had enough time for you to get that name in. You were waiting to share that brilliance with everybody. Thank you. Thank you for trusting us with your poem. Okay, I see some dots. I see some cursors in the form, and I just want you to write your name if you're there. Like I want it in there so I can say it before I close us, right? But I will say this, I don't watch the football, but I hear that there are good results. So the Eagles won, if you didn't know, 28-22. So that's the results that I see. If you go Birds, go Birds. Although look at me. Like I don't watch the football, but I got the shirt. Here we are. Okay. All right. I knew it. Sebastian, I knew if I waited long enough, if I announced the victory, you would be the victory of the poem. Okay, the poet is going to share with us. So Sebastian, Elios, share with us your words and your wisdom.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was hard to be in the mindset to share a poem when it was like coming down to the last 30 seconds. It was hard, but yeah, I've actually been working on a little one about Philly, so it kind of feels fitting now that we're on the little high of going championship game to share it. So this one's just gonna be a love poem to 215. Candidly too, like I'm not originally from Philly, but I've spent a lot of time here over the past few years, and it just feels more like home every time I'm here. So I feel like it's an eventuality that I'm here permanently, but I just really, really love the city a lot. So yeah, Philly, I could go on for days. One part eloquent, two parts rambling. A city wearing it all on green sleeves. Kelly, midnight, tough exterior, tougher spirit. Show up, get checked. Strangers aren't spared from jokes thrust at them, thrown at their feet like Saturday night dice, also green in Vernon Park. Check up, puff your chest out, square your shoulders, stand taller in Tim's, let them know you don't scare easy, smirk and toss one back, take a dig, see something thaw in the eyes and watch mischief seep in. That's where you find it, the true bedrock. The tender begets the tough, but only after the test will you push back. Oh, you can hang. Oh, you ain't soft. Oh, you could stay. Welcome to the fraternity. And the chippiness relaxes, doesn't leave, just turns friendly, albeit a little coarse. Arm around your shoulder, one of us energy, nod from an old head. The next joke thrown is meant to be caught. Philly, yeah, you can overlook it. Yeah, you can bet against it. Yeah, we'll love it even more. The more you think it's down and out, the more fly, Eagles fly. Watch the loyalty calcify, rattle off 10 in a row. If you know this gym in plain sight. This is an honest city. No frills, no shame. Walk down Spring Garden, it smells like piss, weed, and a hot comb. But tell me that Clark Park doesn't have the best apple cider donuts. The heat is its own flavor on an October day. The apple cider hits second. All around, leaves are screaming red to be noticed. What you see is what you get, right down to that crater pothole where North 33rd meets Poplar. Philly, I could go. Thank you.
It was. It was hilarious. Sebastian, thank you so much. Because especially I laughed so loud at the spring gardens line that my daughter was like, Mommy, what's funny? Like, okay. I'm remiss if I have to explain the joke. The joy of that line. Thank you so much. And I noted in the chat of like, Philly be recruiting people, the folks who will love the city. So I think you're being recruited. All right, I'm looking at that list. I'm looking at that list. I'm giving us enough time to put that name in. I'm seeing like, okay, but the cursor was Sebastian, so I'm not seeing anybody else. All right. Let's close then. I see you. There's a treadmill, y'all, and she is joyously using it. I'm gonna drop into the chat some of the links one more again. And there are so many. Who knew that we had so many links until I started putting them in here? So things like the upcoming Allen's Lane event. If you like the poems, if you like what we're doing, and the quick shift that we had to make, but we're going to be in person next time again with Grizel and Vincent at Young American, February 16th, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern. So please do come in, return to our cozy space at Young American. The information about that is on our Instagram, and we also post things on our website. If you'd like to be a part of our newsletter to get updates as to what's coming, you hear the joy in the background. If you'd like to get some information, feel free to private chat me your email address. I'm happy to add you onto our newsletter list. We don't send that regularly, just about a week or so before events. And that's it. So let's give some love to our open micers and our feature, whether aloud or in your reactions. So Warren C. Longmire, David Gaines, Chris Demento, Elliot Batsetic, Lorraine Rice, Sebastian Elios, of course, Sarah Browning, and I shared with you a poem today. I also want to give some great gratitude to our continual partners. Tomiko Bayer has been a wonderful support and brainstorming so much and envisioning with us. Seth Edmondson Oberman, of course, our collaborative partner, Young American, as well. And we're going to keep this community going. And I'm looking forward to, as we have in the past, filling the fullness of that space with all our tight community, our intergenerational, our multi-ethnic, our multi-linguistic, the joyousness of Philly, right? So our last poem from our beloved first poet laureate, Sonia Sanchez. And I think I can share that with you. Yeah, maybe. She gives us this poem. This is not a small voice. This is not a small voice you hear. This is a large voice coming out of these cities. This is the voice of Latanya, Kadisha, Shaniqua. This is the voice of Antoine, Daryl, Shaquille, running over waters, navigating the hallways of our schools, spilling out on the corners of our cities, and no epitaphs spill out of their river mouths. This is not a small love you hear. This is a large love, a passion for kissing, learning on its face. This is a love that crowns the feet with hands, that nourishes, conceives, feels the water, sails, mends the children, folds them inside our history where they toast more than the flesh, where they suck the bones of the alphabet and spit out closed vowels. This is a love colored with iron and lace. This is a love initialed Black genius. This is not a small voice you hear. We need your voice, whatever the word is in these times, and these times are dark. But we need you to see the truth and tell it, and share the story and tell it, and through that galvanize us into movement. So I hope that you are inspired to connect with Reclaim and continue in engagement with community, with activism. Yo, the joy of finding out that the stadium ain't going to change, to invade, like erase Chinatown. Yo, absolutely thrilling. I was up in Maine teaching and they didn't know. They didn't know why I was so happy. So I celebrate all who were calling and getting into meetings and like doing what you needed to do, signing, talking, everything you needed to do to make sure that ultimately our city is preserved, our community is preserved. We care for one another, right? And ultimately, whatever the decisions they make and the powers that be and the money that's exchanging, it's still the people's victory. It's still the people's joy, right? And our collaborative work, right? So we'll see you in February. And may the snow, and as you know, the snow don't stop the show. It don't stop the show. And that I don't know if you hear my daughter in the background. She was like, "Snow, don't stop the show." Snow, don't stop the show. That's right. We got a protest happening. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. And we'll share this on YouTube and we'll see you in February. Bye, y'all.
Thank you, Warren. Hi, Sammy.
My success is inevitable.
Thank you, Raina.
Thank you, Sarah.